So, hola everybody. Thank you for taking your time out for attending the student sharing series. With this event, we hope to give you a peek into our lives as club leaders, as council leaders, as well as club members. So let's probably start the event by introducing ourselves. So let me go first. My name is Mansa. I've previously worked at Goldman Sachs India as an operations associate. My role at the 30th NUS MBA Students Council was that of an academic affairs liaison. So what exactly was my job? My role was to basically listen to the queries and concerns as well as suggestions that folks in our cohort had and pass it on to the faculty and management and see how we can sort them out. I would be your moderator for the day. And I would like to also take this opportunity to introduce my very dear friend who's also going to be our co-moderator, Safira. Safira wears many hats. She's also the first woman NUS MBA Student Council president. More about her in some time from now. So maybe let me talk to you about how this event is going to be, what the agenda is like. We're going to first give you a peek into how we conducted 80 plus events at the NUS MBA despite the pandemic. We'll move on to give you a little bit more detail about exactly how the student council works. Maybe talk to you about what do the three clubs on Spotlight today exactly do: technology, marketing, and entrepreneurship. We'll introduce our panelists, have a very candid and a very informal panel discussion. And after that, we'll have a Q&A round where you all can put in your questions and we'll try to answer them as candidly as possible. So some ground rules for today. Please use the Q&A function. You can see that at the bottom of your screen to put out any questions. Safira and I will try to take these questions during the panel discussion because it's an informal chat between us and you all. If not during the panel discussion, we'll try to take it during the Q&A round. We also request all the budding entrepreneurs, tech evangelists, marketing gurus, and like prospective NUS MBA candidates to keep your questions to the student experience and to the club ecosystem. We are all here to give you details about whatever we have done in the past few months about that. If you have any questions on these topics other than that, we would be talking to you about who exactly from the NUS MBA team you can reach out to to discuss this matter. Okay, so without further ado, I'm now going to hand over to Fred, who's going to take us and give us a peek about what it was like to conduct events during a pandemic.
As you probably know, we aim to offer the most transformational MBA experience in our competitive set and help you to become the best you can be in your chosen field of influence. The MBA club ecosystem is instrumental to this, and it is the core delivery mechanism for your transformation. Our objective really is to channel as much as possible of the experiential learning through the club ecosystem. The objectives are really to build your skills, build your industry knowledge, your industry network, understand what really sort of shapes the industry, test drive to confirm what you truly can be passionate about. Build your network, build your LinkedIn, and at the end of your MBA, you won't even need career services anymore. The MBA club ecosystem has become your professional home. Enjoy the journey, and I so look forward to meeting you in person very soon.
All right, thank you, Mansa, and thank you, Fred. So now I will try to explain to you what is Student Council in the NUS MBA. So NUS MBA Student Council is actually the main student leadership body, aspires to serve the needs of the MBA cohort and to enrich the student experience and learnings of the MBA journey with the NUS Business School. So the Student Council actually is there to enrich the experience by fostering a vibrant and inclusive environment characterized by learning, synergy, and achievement. And the Student Council is a student-run body that endeavors to bring about the holistic development in every NUS MBA graduate. The council is headed by the president, the vice president, and fellow club leaders who together coined the agenda for student activities during the academic years. Activities encompass both professional and personal development through student-led activities that are adaptive to certain circumstances, which include in-person, virtual, and hybrid formats, as you can see in the video before. So these initiatives include frequent panel discussions, seminars, webinars, networking sessions, cultural events, social activities, workshops, alumni industry engagements. So currently we have 12 clubs, which actually consist of 7 professional clubs. We have Consulting Club, Energy Club, Entrepreneurship Club, in which we have Fred today to share with you, Finance Club, Healthcare Club, Marketing Club, we have Kath here, and Technology Club, we have Ankita here with us today. And we have 5 general interest clubs, Diversity and Inclusion, Sustainability, Ethics and Impact Club, or we call it SEI Club, Community, Social and Culture Club, Sports and Wellness, and then last but not least, Sandbox Club. It's actually a public speaking club. All right. And the next part, so these are actually just, the snippets of event posters. So to, promote each of the events, the club leaders alongside the students will need to, create some marketing collaterals, and, you can actually be super creative in, creating your posters here. Yes. And the next one, so we would like to introduce you to the panelists today. So as Mansa shared before, I'm currently the president of the NUS Ambition Council. It's an honor to be the first female president, but yeah, I'm a full-time mother as well. So it's actually my full-time job. I won't say it's as a job, but yeah, And aside of being a student, I'm actually also a co-founder and a CFO of a jewelry business. So my business actually is based in Jakarta, Indonesia. And I worked for a private equity company for the last 5 years in Jakarta. And currently, the last position actually was as investment manager. And then, yeah, I'm a full-time mom, yes. In my leisure time, I usually sing, play the piano, or paint. So if you guys like to paint, like music, you feel free to reach out to me and we can, of course, talk about that. So yeah, we have 3 amazing club leaders with me. I love to work with them. They're so amazing. So I have Fred, he's the vice president of Entrepreneurship Club. I have Kath, the president of the Marketing Club, and I have Ankita, the president of Technology Club. I will hand over to you, Fred, for your introduction.
Thanks for your lovely introduction. Thanks so much. I didn't know Mansa was a dancer and a baker, so that's very interesting. Anyways, hi guys, thanks for joining us this evening. So I'm Fred, vice president of the NUS MBA Entrepreneurship Club. Prior to the MBA, I co-founded a corporate interior design startup based in Brunei, and we did a few things here in Singapore. Now it's dormant. That's why I'm in the MBA. Previously, I did operations in real estate, oil and gas, and F&B. And in my spare time, I like to tinker with tech stuff and look for good food. Off to you, Catherine.
Yeah, thanks, Fred. Fred truly a foodie, the president of the foodie club of the NUS MBA. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet all of you here today. I am Catherine. I am the president of the Marketing Club as well as the MBA and US Business School. Before the MBA, I worked as a consulting manager from EY Consulting. And now before MBA, I also love traveling. I travel around the world, but because of COVID, I cannot travel. So only one country is open for me is Singapore. So that's why I come here to travel, to conduct the MBA and to meet all of many people from the different countries in the MBA cohort. So exciting to share with you today about the MBA life, about the NUS and about the Singapore as well. So I will hand over to Ankita.
Thank you, Kath. Hi, everybody. Very, very, very warm welcome to everyone. It's really exciting to see so many people joining us this evening. So thank you for being here with us. So my name is Ankita, and I'm serving as the president of the Tech Club. And prior to the MBA, I actually completed my bachelor's at NUS as well. So I'm an alumnus. I did my mechanical engineering here. And then following that, I spent the majority of my working life in the aviation sector. So I worked with Rolls-Royce in the civil aerospace division. I did many different roles, including supply chain, manufacturing, assembly and test, new product introduction. But then eventually I found myself working in the R&D and innovation sector of the company and the industry as a program lead of a large innovation program here in Singapore. So my focus there really was digital transformation and Industry 4.0. And that eventually then brought me very close to the tech sector and then to the Tech Club in the MBA. So I do a lot of things in my free time, which includes spending time with a lot of the people that you see in this group today. But other than that, probably one of the most interesting things that I do is drumming. So I love music. I'm an amateur drummer. I wouldn't call myself very pro, but I love to drum. So if anybody else out there is a music enthusiast, feel free to reach out and I'd love to have a chat. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. So actually, just to share a little bit of fun fact here, Ankita and I did a cover of a song for an event, which is a part of the MBA Leads Challenge. So MBA Leads Challenge is actually a collaboration among three MBAs in Singapore, NTU, NUS, and SMU. And yeah, I mean, being a student, not only you can be, exposed to academic classes, but also you can actually explore your, non-academic skills as well. So yeah. All right, moving on to the next part. We will have a little bit more explanation about the clubs. So we will start with Technology Club.
All right. Thank you, Saf. Okay. So once again, for anyone who just joined us and missed our quick introduction just now, my name is Ankita and I served as the president of the Tech Club in the 38th Students Council. And once again, a very warm welcome to all of you joining us today. So here is a quick introduction of the NUS MBA Technology Club. Essentially, the Tech Club aims to empower the NUS MBAs to build a career in the tech sector. And this year, the team employed a three-pronged approach to engaging industry leaders and academics. So we introduced 3 series of events, the first one being the Discovery Series, and that is all about assessing your fit into the industry. So if you're somebody who doesn't come from the tech background, or even if you are somebody who comes from the tech background but wants to switch industries or switch careers, this is a series of events for you. Next, we have the Knowledge series of events. This is all about acquiring the right skills to stay relevant within the tech sector, which today is more important than ever before. And then you have the Career series of events, which is all about internships and recruitment. So we bring in a lot of different companies to engage with our students and offer internship and full-time opportunities. So the Tech Club really strives to engage industry leaders in the tech sector, including companies like PayPal, AWS, Google, ByteDance, Microsoft, what have you. And we also love to engage our very esteemed academic faculty members to impart the valuable knowledge and skills that they have to us. The Tech Club is really bolstered by the student leaders, council leaders that you see here today, but the success of it is attributed to the student members who participate and engage actively in all our events. So this goes for all our clubs in the NUSMB ecosystem. So I'd like to take the time now to pass it to Catherine, who will share an overview of the marketing club.
Yeah, thanks, Ankita. This is the marketing club. It's the NUS marketing club. So the marketing club, our objective is that we want to engage and give the opportunities for all MBA students to discover the different topics, the different aspects of the marketing. Because even you want to become to the business leader, or you want to become the want to do the startup, you need the marketing knowledge to run the business, to become the business leader in the future. So we want to provide the different knowledge, the different aspect of the marketing to the MBA students. And besides that, we also want to engage MBA students with the business leader and as well as the people who also have so many experience in the marketing. So that's the first thing, we gain the knowledge, we learn from them. The second thing is that we can expand the network. And after that, we can find the job opportunities, or even I will also connect with some people together to do the startup. So this is amazing opportunity for people to connect with the other people. And the last but not least, we also connect with the people not only in Singapore, but also in around Asia. And even some speakers also from the US, they're willing to have the event with us. So here is a sum of events we done this year. You can see that we have some job coaching session, industry insight, and job advice session with the people from the Unilever, Microsoft, Google, or from the BCG as a marketing consulting, and most of speakers from the alumni and US alumni. They're so amazing. They're very successful after MBA, and then they come back to share with us about the industry insight, about the job opportunities, and how to make the MBA is a great for all the people in our cohort. So it is an amazing opportunity for us. And this is about the marketing club. And I will hand over to another awesome club, is the entrepreneurship for Fred.
Thanks, Kath. Hi, guys. So I'm Fred, Vice President of the Nusmp Entrepreneurship Club. My president is in NYU doing her exchange right now, so I'm taking over for this. So about the Entrepreneurship Club, the Entrepreneurship Club aims to inspire, grow, and empower the spirit of entrepreneurship and build a community of entrepreneurial leaders at NUS. So basically what we try to do is we try to get all the aspiring, existing entrepreneurs and, just bring everyone together to share, to talk about business ideas, to validate some assumptions, and basically just to build a global network of Nusmp entrepreneurs, right? We want this to last well into the future. So we want to provide a platform for people to come forward to learn more about entrepreneurship, to ask any doubts, clarify any doubts they have. And we also want to, give an insight to the startup ecosystem, NUS, startup ecosystem within NUS. So we basically have a lot of resources within NUS which can help you get off the ground. And just free posters, these are some of the events we run during this year, obviously not all of them. First one where we had all the existing, our classmates, MBAs, who've done a lot of things, so we got them to talk about their entrepreneurial journey, what it was like, ask them the hard questions about their failures. And in the middle, we invited Josh from GYG, Guzman Gomez, the Mexican franchise chain, and Jane, the founder of Kit, to speak about their journeys in the F&B space in Singapore, and how they're affected by COVID and how they're coping with that. Last one on the side, we have a pitch masterclass run by one of our profs. So he's on the advisory panel of Entrepreneur First, for some of you who may know that. Basically, some of the MBAs came forward and said, okay, we want to pitch, and we watched them get grilled by. So that was basically it. So yeah, that's Entrepreneurship Club. Look forward to answering more of your questions in the Q&A. Yep. That's it for the slides. All right. Back to the moderator.
Do you want to go?
Okay. Thanks, guys. So now I think the audience may have a little bit of understanding about 3 clubs, but I believe that they also have some questions on how you actually arrange events, how you engage, corporate partners, professionals, or even alumni to come to the events and, participate and even contribute their time, their energy to the current MBA students. So I would like to ask our Tech Club President, Ankita. So it relates to the network that you currently have, and even I think you will definitely widen up your network more by becoming a part of the club. So how has your network grown through the engagement as part of the MBA club ecosystem?
All right. Thanks, Safira, for that question. So I think this is something that I'm sure a lot of the audience members have on their mind, because one of the biggest reasons people join the MBA is to grow their network. So there are many ways in which we have been able to grow our network in the MBA, and it's really a constant process. So at NUS Business School, the student clubs are really organized and run pretty much wholly by the team of students, of course, supported by the programs office, but really it's student initiated. So this involves everything from planning networking events to arranging outside speakers to come into the school and talk with the students. So the accountability and the leadership that the club ecosystem allows you to develop automatically puts you in a position where you find yourself engaging with people and subsequently growing your network. So the second thing about the MBA is that not everyone goes into the MBA with a clear idea of where they want to end up. So the appeal of the whole business degree program is that it will help you to determine which career path would be good for you and would interest you. So in the process of exploring all these different career paths and your interests, in that learning experience, you end up meeting many different industry leaders across sectors. Even if you come from a tech background, it doesn't mean that you wouldn't be meeting leaders from, let's say, the finance sector or the marketing sector. You really have that opportunity through the club ecosystem to meet all of these leaders, and that's really the USP of the NUS MBA club system. And I think the third one is kind of building upon the second point there, which is the industry engagement. Now, NUS works a lot with corporate partners, and these partners are from all layers of industries, including Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan, for example, in finance, or if you talk about the tech sector, you have Microsoft, or you have BP in energy, for instance. So the involvement of these companies ranges anywhere from student mentoring to, for example, the MBA consulting projects. It's really a mutually beneficial relationship that we form with the company. So they benefit, and we obviously benefit a lot from them. So I think these are some of the ways in which my network has grown, and I hope I speak for all the student leaders here today as well.
Thanks, Ankita. Thanks. Yeah, and I think we have a question related to that from the audience. So you were talking about the network with external stakeholders, right? And how you want to create, build your career. And how about the network within the cohort? Because there is a question about how the students can actually join the events. Should they become a member? Should they contribute as a committee? So would you like to explain a little bit about the network within the cohort itself?
Perhaps I can take that as well. So I think within the cohort, one of the ways our network has expanded is a lot through the student interest group. So when you come in and you make friends, I think the first thing, the first way that we connect is through our sort of extracurricular interests. So I think we started the session with talking about that. So for example, Mansa likes to bake. One of the things that she actually did for some of us was to bake cakes. Some of these little things kind of really makes us grow closer. And it's after that that you kind of delve a little bit deeper into where we come from pre-MBA and what our post-MBA aspirations are. So networking within the cohort, I think, happens on many different levels. It starts with a very personal level. I think we start by making friends, as you say it. And then at the same time, you feel like, yes, your professional network is growing as well when we do projects, when we do internships, and when we talk to one another about our experiences. So it's really many different facets to the network growing within the cohort.
All right, nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankita. So, Fred, I think my next question is to you. So we are all very, very aware, 9 months into the MBA, how intense it is and how we need to juggle various things, from assignments to attending classes, to looking for internships, to doing club activities, to even taking part in competitions, and, having a good social life where we are networking with folks in our cohort as well as outside. As in your experience as the vice president of the Entrepreneurship Club, how many hours does it take, or rather, how much time does it take to organize an event? And how have you been able to manage your position as the vice president of the Entrepreneurship Club along with your other commitments, personal as well as a student?
So I think planning an event can take anywhere between an hour to 2 weeks, depending on the kind of event that you're running. If it's an hour, then basically it'll be like internal event where we don't reach out to too many external parties. We just try and get people in a room and talk about some stuff. That would be an hour thing. And then 2 weeks would be trying to reach out to external speakers, maybe professionals in industry, people, working people, maybe alumni, to get them and come in. And sometimes we have to accommodate their schedule and accommodate our MBA schedule as well, right? As for balancing the coursework and responsibility, I think it really comes down to organization at the end of the day. Some days you would have to stay back like an extra hour or two for meetings, group discussions. But I think when it comes down to getting overwhelmed or getting really busy, I think our dean said it very well. You're coming to NUS MBA to be stressed. You're coming here to be pressured, right? So that in the future, I mean, when we're at our jobs, when we have much more problems, we will be equipped. We'll be better equipped. So that's one of my major takeaways from being the MBA in general. Hope that answered your question.
Yep. I think somewhere on the lines of time commitment, we have a question on the chat, which any of you feel free to kind of take it up. You spoke from the point of view of a club leader, but for someone who would like to be a club member and benefit from the various activities that the council organizes, on an average, what are the number of hours that a person has to commit? Also, maybe you can even speak from a leader as how many hours on an average have you committed towards the club member leader? Feel free, anyone can feel free to pick it up.
Take this. On average, I'd say maybe an hour to 2 a week, just to meet with your co-leaders and to figure out, hey, what are we going to do next? What do our MBA wants? I mean, what our club members want, and how do we go about, trying to get them the best experience they can? So I would say 1 to 2 hours per week for club event stuff. And that's a lot of weeks. So it can get quite busy.
Yep, I think especially the week when which the event is happening, it gets quite intense because you need to look into the logistics and even ensure that all our corporate partners, any of our other alum partners are engaged and they have everything that they need. So it's actually very subjective, but yeah, I think Fred has given a good enough average. Okay, Sapira, over to you.
All right. Okay, I have a special question for Kath. Okay, so what are some of the challenges faced while you organize events, especially during the pandemic, right? Because as we saw in the video and as we, went through the console period, we knew that we have to pivot most of the in-person events into virtual. And how has it actually improved your leadership style?
Yeah, I also have to ask myself how to deal with the situation right now, because most of the event I have to convert into the virtual event, and it's truly a challenge. So the most challenging is that even we convert from offline event to online event, how to keep participants interactive during the session. So we have the one idea is that instead of we organize one event with so many participants, we conduct multiple events. And even we conduct one-on-one coaching session. In fact, every Sunday I conduct a one-on-one coaching session, of course, with the speaker. This is the people from the industries with the team member from the marketing club. And during the one-on-one session, it's about 1 hour, 40 minutes, right? It's a 40 minutes, and then they can discuss directly, engage in the conversation, and also support as a speaker, also support the team member. After the one-on-one coaching section, it means that they continue the network after joining the marketing club event. And I have a good news. Yesterday, I catch up with one team member, and after joining one-on-one coaching session, he also gets a higher job. He has just promoted in the higher job after joining MBA and after have the one-on-one coaching session. Of course, during the pandemic, we have to place more efforts to organize the event, to give the interaction between participant and speaker. But we see that is a good result coming, so we have the motivation to continue to do that.
I mean, glad to hear that, right? So actually the club events really help the students in, developing themselves more It's very good to hear that. Yeah. Thanks, Kath.
I would like to actually add on to that because I was a member of the marketing club, and I had the opportunity to meet with one of the industry leaders that um, the marketing club kind of organized this mentorship series with. It was a weekend series where we had individual slots with him for around half an hour, where we could discuss our career aspirations, probably even show our resume and get his feedback on that. For me, that played a very instrumental role in ensuring that my resume is as per industry standards and as per how a good graduate's resume should be. It also gave me a lot of insight as to what are some of the things that I can do to get into my target industry or like target company. So thank you for that, Kat. It was very helpful. I think we can move on to the next question. So Fred, back to you. I think my question to you is, how has the club ecosystem and how has the experience of being a council leader shaped, or rather created an impression on your entrepreneurial aspirations? We all know that you're a budding entrepreneur, and we would like to know what more have you learned, or what more have you understood with your experience as the council leader?
That's a very long question, Mansa. Well, basically, I think one of my biggest takeaways, right, the biggest value add to me would be basically the network, right? I one of the main reasons behind my decision to start an MBA was basically to grow my network, right? Whether in business, whether with professionals. So I think the MBA and the club ecosystem has given me that. It's given me the opportunity to cross paths with a lot of diverse individuals. And just recently, for example, like a couple of us were just talking about business idea, right? We were just entrepreneurs. We're just talking about business ideas. And then all of a sudden we're like, okay, how much would it cost to build something like this, right? We don't have any software background. We're not software engineers. And then, someone else was just like, hey, go ask that guy. He does this for his job, right? So yeah, you can just reach out and just like, hey, I have this idea. This is what we want to build. And then next thing you know, he gives you like a lot of material. Okay, this is how you build an app. This is how much it's going to cost. So I think that's one of the greatest things about the MBA program, for me at least. You can just reach out to anybody and ask them something. Yeah.
I agree.
Thanks, Fred. So I have a question to Kath again, and especially about your activities in the marketing group. So you mentioned that you have one-on-one job coaching session, and then you also have webinars, even in-person panel discussion. So from this event, how has the marketing club helped connect the members to the industry leaders, especially in the marketing sector?
Yeah. So first thing is that we change the content a little bit. Instead of half of the events, we spend time for speakers to share their experience and their knowledge. But half of the events, we spend time for participants, for team members can ask the question and have the interaction with the speaker. And after the event, they can connect to continue to have the conversation. I take one example for one event of the marketing club. It is about the go-to-market strategy with a pack list from Google. And we spend most of time we don't have any slide or any sharing, any presentation from speaker, just Q&A. And we have 20 participants join this event, and each participant bring to the event at least one question. And then we ask the speaker, and as well as make the time for speaker and for the participant have the conversation. And after that, the speaker also receive the CV from the participant and have them to revise the CV to apply for the job. For example, the go-to-market strategy team from Google, or the product management, something like that. So I have to say big thank for the speaker. And the second thing is that we try to connect with the alumni from the NUS MBA. And then we share this contact, we share the LinkedIn contact of the alumni to the team member, because it's easy for the team member to connect with the alumni. They're willing to support the MBA student, and then they can share with you, share tips and opportunities, how to make the MBA so great and how to find a job after MBA. So these are two things I did during my time.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Kat.
Thanks, Kat. So I'm going to ask a question to Safira now, our moderator. So Safira, there is a question on the chat about how part-time MBA candidates can be a part of club activities. Do you want to shed some light on that?
Sure. So let me share here that actually, even though you're a part-timer, you can always join the student council as a part of, as the leader, because actually my vice president is a part-timer. We also have finance club vice president, which she is also a part-timer. So there is no restrictions in joining the student council. Whether you are, you are a full-time student or a part-time student, you can always join the council as leader, and even as as the participants in every club event. So any club event is actually for all students or current students, and even sometimes we also extend our invites to other MBAs in Singapore, for example, to the NTU MBA, to the SMU MBA, and even to other masters in the NUS Business School as well. So it's a very open ecosystem. It's a very open community, and we actually encourage our batch or our cohort and even the incoming cohort as well to join as many club events as possible, because in that event you can actually network with lots of students from the diverse background, from diverse culture, and yeah, so it's an opportunity for the students to again develop themselves personally and professionally.
Thanks, Safira. I think I have a question for Ankita over here. So Ankita, could you tell us more about some of the prospective or rather upcoming careers in the technology sector? I think there are quite a few folks who are asking about what are the possible opportunities and what has the club done to kind of move its members towards that direction?
Thanks for that question, audience, and also Samantha. So post MBA, we have many different wide-ranging careers that you can pursue. But maybe let me just shed some light on some of the more popular ones. So the one that I'm sure a lot of you guys, especially those coming from the tech sector originally, have heard of, it's product management. Now, the responsibility of a PM really depends on the nature of the company's product line, right? So you can be working with a fintech company or an e-commerce company, or with a very hardcore engineering company in the maritime or aviation sector. Really, any industry today has product management, and any industry today involves an aspect of tech in it. You simply cannot divorce tech from any industry today. So some PMs are responsible, for example, for the complete product, like an early stage startup that's looking to get a product to the market, or they can be others that focus on different components of the product and really have a specialized focus on that. So an example project could be to take a new app from vision to shipping, or listening to customer feedback on how to improve a section of the product and putting this into action. So product management is one of the biggest or most popular careers that you can pursue in the tech sector post MBA. Next, related to that, you have product marketing. Now, it is, if on one hand, a product manager's job is to develop and define new products, it's the product marketer's job to sort of bring that product to market. And product marketers really need a very deepened understanding of the customer and of the market, and ensure that a product and its new features are appropriately positioned in the market. So that's another popular one that's coming up. Now, another one that I can talk about is growth management. Now, this role really sits somewhere between marketing and product, because the growth function focuses on customer and user acquisition. The growth team, a team that's really popping up in many different companies, it's mainly seen in growth and scale-up companies rather than large multinationals. So if you work in startups, you might have a team that's solely focused on growth. And this is one of the more popular careers that is springing up as well. And the final one that I'd like to mention are strategy roles. Now, a lot of people will go into strategy roles within tech companies, or they want to go into that, but they don't know what to look for. Many times these roles are not titled as strategy roles. Rather, they can be titled something like business operations analyst, or you can have a business operations manager. But what these really are strategy roles. And so actually a few years back, Google also introduced this term called BizOps to cover the internal strategy within an organization. And this term BizOps has actually now spread across the industry. So you'll find this in a lot of places today. And your role is all about analyzing data and presenting recommendations and also supporting process implementation. So I think these are some of the roles that I can think of. So as a quick recap, that's product management, you have product marketing, you have growth management, and you have strategy roles, or what we call today BizOps. Now, how has the Tech Club supported that? I think the Tech Club, first of all, targets people who come from a non-tech background. And I think that makes up the majority of the cohort. So anyone in the audience who's asking me that question, and I've seen a lot of them in the chat, if you're coming from a non-tech background, being in the Tech Club will basically expose you to a lot of these different industries, a lot of these different career paths. So we have things like fireside chats, for instance, with a lot of industry professionals. We bring these people in and talk about a day in the life of. That's really what you need to know if you want to go pursue any of these careers. We'll bring in very specialist leaders in the tech sector or in any particular industry, like e-commerce, for instance, to talk about what it takes to be in that role or in that team. And that can involve, to an extent, developing your skills. So one of the other things that the Tech Club has done is to organize workshops. So in the past few months, we've organized workshops on Tableau, on Snowflake, on Power BI. These are essential skills that you need to have to enter the tech sector, and skills that a lot of the industry professionals will mention as well. So that's another role of the Tech Club to actually organize some of these workshops, of course, supported by our programs office and BizCareers as well. So I hope that answers the question for everyone out there who's asked that.
Yep. Thank you, Ankita. I think just before we move on to the next question, I'm seeing this common question appear a lot on the chat regarding some of the other clubs we have, like consulting, finance, healthcare. So don't worry, we're going to have various events on other clubs as well. So we're going to put some of the other clubs on spotlight as well. What we would suggest is to keep a watch out on our social media handles. So just like how you found out about this event, you will also find out about the other events, and that would be an opportunity for you all to hear from our council leaders on some of the other clubs that we have. Kat, would you like to answer the question about what a typical day would look like of an NUS MBA student?
Sure. It's a typical question. I also ask my alumni students what is a typical days of NUS MBA student. So for me, every day I come to class. Of course, we take 4 hours or 8 hours for class. And during the break time of the class, I also have some conversation with other club leaders. For example, when I organize the event with Ankita and Fred, we also discuss during the break time or after the class. And also when we go to school, it's easy for us to catch up with the NUS business office to support us for the class event. So we easy to make the conversation. And after the break, we join the class again. And after that, we prepare something, planning, documentation for the club event. And because we have the 5 day per week, right? We just go to school and have the class around 2 days or 3 days per week. And other day we don't have class, I arrange the networking event for myself to find the speaker, to meet with the speaker, invite them to join the event, or meet with the alumni to invite them to support the team members. So this is the typical days: academic life, networking life, and of course, party life. We can ask Fred, right? Fred, you can share something about the party life here.
I was gonna say, Kat, you're making us sound like a bunch of nerds, right? All we do is make events, go to the office, and no. So I think just to add on that, we do have long classes. We have 3-hour classes. Sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes it's in the afternoon. Right now, since we're technically year 2, most of our classes are in the evening, and some of us full-timers are working full-time internships during the day. And what you can expect is basically like maybe a Monday, Tuesday, full day kind of thing, and then maybe 1 or 2 classes on Wednesday and Thursday. And then of course after that, there's a lot of food and drinks, depending on who you reach out to, where your network is. Yeah, people go out quite a bit. So there is fun in the MBA as well. It's not all.
Of course.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Fred and Kath. So I think I'm going to ask a question to all the panelists, Fred, Nikita, and Kath. There's a question from the audience saying that what would be your best moment, being a part of the council or as the club leader? And to add, maybe you can share what was your best event, and if you could use one word to describe your experience, what would that be?
Ankita's gonna take.
All right, maybe I'll take that.
Yeah.
I think for me, an interesting memory was actually the event that we did with Google, with the gentleman, Mr. Kiran Mani, who is actually now one of the official advisors of the Technology Club going forward. We're very honored to have him on board with us. I think the word that I would use to describe that event was unexpected. And I think that word or that feeling was across the board for all of the 80 to 100 odd members who actually attended that particular event. So Kiran came in from Google to talk about nothing to do with recruitment. We weren't out there to look for jobs. We simply came there to talk about what AI and machine learning really means. And along the way, of course, these are very technical terms. There might be people in the audience who've never even heard of this, of these words, but he came in and described it to us in a very philosophical way, almost in a way which kind of brought us back to our roots to really understand what it means to have machines sort of take over our lives. And what it means in different industries to be part of this transformative journey that most companies are currently in the middle of. And we actually ended that session with a sort of self-reflective meditation session, which was very interesting for Kiran to initiate because we don't oftentimes take a moment to breathe in the MBA. So Nok and Fred just now covered a day in the life of. Nowhere did they mention, we stop to breathe, smell the roses, and take a break, because we don't. We forget that we need to take breaks. And Kiran really brought that out in that particular event. So for 5 to 10 minutes at the end, with this this gentleman who's at a very high position in Google, he asked us, guys, slow down, let's take a break. So yeah, unexpected was the word for me. And that was one of the most memorable events, part of the Tech Club that we organized.
Thank you, Ankita. Kath or Fred, maybe you want to add what will be your best moment being a part of the club?
Fred, did you have any moment?
I'm actually stuck. I'm actually thinking about the time where we had really, really long meetings. But I think, well, I'll just because there was a question about, like how do you network and how you socialize especially when you're like someone who's shy and whatnot. Believe it or not, I was actually a very shy person before the MBA. So I always
really, Ben, I don't know.
Come on, guys. I would be the guy who would enter a room and not know how to talk to anyone, just stand in the corner and maybe talk to the guy nearest to you. I think the MBA has changed that in that I have decided to change or decided to improve, like and like being part of council sort of help, right? Like moving up to the election, some people were asking about how you run for a club. Anybody can run for a club, right? You basically get you do a manifesto, you tell people what you want to do, and you get people to vote for you. So for me, it was more like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm not gonna sit around and let somebody else. I'm gonna do it myself. So that's sort of how the journey worked for me. And being in the club ecosystem, being a leader, sort of enhanced that in a way. You're more willing to take risks. You're more willing to step up when some job needs being done. And I think that's the greatest takeaway. I don't have any event in particular, or all events are great. So yeah.
Yeah. So for me, during the MBA and during well as a president during the student council, I had so many first-time moments. The first time I become the facilitator of the event, the first time I can connect with so many great leaders from different companies. For example, I connect with the vice presidents of the global brands from Unilever, or the APAC leads from Google, or the director from the Microsoft. I don't think that's actually, I don't think that in my life I have the opportunity to connect with the many great leaders in over the in so many different companies like that. And I also had the first moment to become the guest speaker for today. Today is also my first time to talk with so many participants here. Yeah. So for MBA, and actually it gives me so many unique and special opportunity for me to experience and to grow.
That's good to hear. Thanks for sharing, Kath and Fred.
Sorry, I was on mute. Not a rookie mistake, but okay. So I think my next question is for Ankita. I think there are a couple of folks on the chat who would like to know how can one become a club leader? And while you're talking about that, would you also like to talk about what inspired you to be the leader of the tech club? And Fred and Catherine, like, feel free to add on, like, and talk about your inspirations as well.
Okay, thanks for that question. So, so really the sort of boring answer is that student leaders are actually elected by an election process, and there is a formal voting process where all the students can actually come in and vote for your choice leader. And eventually, you know, we have a kind of a full organization of almost 30 to 40 council leaders that are eventually elected to lead all of these clubs. So that's the boring answer. The fun answer is that we actually have a lot that goes on behind the scenes, leading up to the final election and so-called your pitches, you know, as prospective leaders and things like that. So, you know, there's campaigning, there's networking, you know, and it's a whole process of almost, I don't know, 2 to 3 months we went through. For me, what drew me to joining the Students' Council, I think, was the people that I met along the way. And one of the most amazing things that that NUS has implemented, in fact, starting with our batch of students, is something called the Student Transitional Task Force Committee. And that basically gives an opportunity for students to get involved with club activities even before the MBA program starts. So as soon as you formally join the MBA program, you will receive kind of a notification from the program's office or the student leaders to come and join our club. And that's really your first interaction with your cohort and with the MBA itself. So before you even start your classes proper, you know a lot of people. So I knew you know, about a quarter of the batch before I even joined you know, classes formally. So knowing these people and the kind of experiences I had working with them, and how much I enjoyed working with them, really led me to kind of run to become a student leader. And I think what I wanted to do was be in a position that creates impact. For me, leadership is all about creating impact. And it gives me a lot of joy to see how my actions or the actions of the council as a whole, or for instance, touch the lives of so many people in so many different ways. You know, of course, professional events are the primary drawing factor of these clubs, but the friendships that you take away from it is really what stays with you post MBA.
Thanks, Ankita. Before we move on to the next part of the session, I think it's around 8:30 Singapore time. Technically, we were supposed to end our session by now, but we are so overwhelmed with all the questions that are there on the chat, and we would like to answer them. So we would be extending the session by 15 minutes. It would be great if you could stick with us and hear us out, because this would be your opportunity to get to know more about how the NUS MBA is like, how the club ecosystem is like. So yeah, Safira, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Mansa. So I just saw the Q&A chat, and There's a question to me as a full-time working mom. Okay, I think I will take this. So hi, Isabella. Yeah, I know that you are also a mom. Okay. Oh, that's nice. So okay, talking about juggling between family work and school, there's no science behind it. Like there's always this time when you will need to prioritize, right? So for example, when I got elected as the president of the council, I knew that since the beginning, my time mostly will be devoted to the council, of course. So behind that, of course, I might need to have some kind of discussion with the family. Even I would talk to my son. Hi, mommy. We'll go to school. I will have this kind of special group, which is called council. I don't know whether my son would understand it or not, but that's the way I try to communicate with him and try to make him understand that I will have some time away from him, because I joined school and even be a part of the council, right? And not to mention, you need to remember that you're also a student, so you will have assignments, you will have exams, you will have group projects, long meetings for the group project in the class, long meetings with the council, for example. It's something that will test you, of course. And in order to do that, you really need to know your limit. By the limit, I mean in terms of your energy and your mental health, of course. So if you know that, so for myself, for example, I know that in certain period, I might be busy with the council activities because I will have club events. And even a part of the certain council is called executive committee, in which Mansa and I are part of. We also have events. And then not to mention, like Mansa shared, we also need to liaise with NUSMB stakeholders because we receive feedback from the cohort, right, Mansa? So some things like that might come in along the way. And in some period, you might need to take the step back. If in one period, you might want to focus on the console, on the class, that's okay. And if at some period you want to focus more to your family, it's also okay. So there's no exact timing or which period you should focus more on what. It's more to know yourself, know your limit, and don't forget you have your support system, right? It's not only about your family. I mean, your cohort, your fellow batchmates are actually also your support system. And if you share with them, they would definitely understand that for example, I would have hard stops. My friends here would know that I might need to log out from the meeting, for example, at 11 p.m. or maximum 11:30 p.m. because I need to do this and that with my son and blah, blah, blah. So, it's doable if you're a mom, if you're a part-timer and you're also a mom. We have amazing moms in our cohort. Just don't be afraid. It's not a thing that is there for you to stop, developing yourself, to stop achieving what you want to achieve in terms of probably, you want to pursue an MBA, you want to pursue other masters, or you want to go and step up for your next level in your career. No, it's not. It's actually there for you to, really challenge yourself and become more. So that's what I would say. And it's been a very rewarding journey for me. So, feel free to reach out to me if you really want to have this conversation, because I know it's something that is a little bit uncommon now, but it's don't be afraid. That's it. Moms, you need to step up, and yeah, I believe you can. And yes, thank you for the
just
question.
to add, you're not the only mom, right? We have quite a few mothers in the MBA as well.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, we have strong moms in our NUSMBA. Even in our council, we have, the president of the Entrepreneurship Club is actually a mom. One of our vice presidents of the finance club, she's also a mom. So it's nothing. It's nothing to be afraid of. You become a mom, and then it won't stop you from stepping up to be a part of the council or the NUSMBA. Or yes, thanks, Fred, for reminding me. And I think we have more questions, right? So this is for the panelists. Guys, how did the club activity transform you And I believe I also saw a question in which they would like to know which moment or which part of the MBA program that is the hardest one for you.
Maybe I'll take this first. So like I mentioned at the beginning, I'm actually an NUS alumnus. So I come from engineering school prior to the MBA. I was a rather quiet student in my undergrad days. I wasn't participating too much. I wasn't really part of the student clubs in engineering. And I really kind of just completed my academic tenure and graduated. So when I came into the MBA, the entire club ecosystem was a big draw for me. Because I knew coming in that I wanted to be more vocal. I wanted to have the opportunity to take up more leadership. And I wanted to meet new people. And that was really one of the biggest things, of course, apart from pursuing a new career path for me coming into the MBA. So the way the club ecosystem, I think, has been transformative to me is in a lot of ways, personal growth. I think the way that all of us here today, the confidence with which all of us here today conduct ourselves, I think in different settings, whether it's a social setting or a professional setting, has changed. And I think I can speak for everyone here, going into an interview or going into a networking session where most of the time in the room, the people there are more experienced than you. Of course, you wouldn't know more than them, but what you can do is ask the right questions. And know what to say when you're introducing yourself, things like that. So I think that's something that we've gained along the way through the MBA because, like we talked about, one of the biggest things is getting to know your cohort. So I think I've done a self-introduction probably 200-300 times by now. And the more times you do it, the more proficient you get at it. And eventually when it comes to doing an interview or meeting industry leaders, you know exactly how to do it and what to say. So I think these are the simple things which have been transformative for me. Simple things that doing a self-introduction, I did not know how to do before the MBA, I would say. Not fluently, at least. But now if you ask me, I can probably do that. So yeah, I hope that answered the question. The other part of the question was about challenges. I think time management for me, there's so much going on in the MBA. It's important to make time for classes, for clubs, and most importantly for parties. I think that really defines your MBA experience. I think a lot of us can say 50-50, 50% partying and 50% work. And that's really how we've all built our experience to be, because we know that, the parties are not just parties, you're creating memories. And really, these are the same people that you work with when you come back to school, when you do project work, when you work in the council, when you attend club activities. So having those shared memories really, really makes a difference in terms of how your MBA program kind of charts out.
I think just to add on the part two, I totally agree with time management and planning your time. I cannot stress this enough, and I would like to reiterate what I mentioned earlier in the call. This is what Dean Andy said, and it really stuck with me since I think one of you guys were in the room with me. But basically, he said, "You're coming here to be overwhelmed, right? So it may be difficult now, but imagine 5-10 years down. I mean, in the future, when you're running a multi-million-dollar company as a CEO, when you have kids, when a loved one is sick, that won't be that challenging anymore because you've already been through all of this. So this is literally like a boot camp, like a training zone for bigger challenges ahead. So definitely time management, planning your time, organization, that's challenging, and we're still learning every day."
Agree. Gav, you want to add something or?
So I think Fred and Antita, I have nothing to add here. That's correct. Time management, balance, academic life and personal life is so important. And for sure that we also receive the enough support, the sufficient support from the cohort, from the other people in the team. So don't worry too much because we can arrange and we can manage our time.
Thanks, Catherine. There is a question on the chat, which I would like to take up. It's regarding how we collaborate with other Singapore business schools and with other clubs. Safira, would you like to take that and talk about the Dean's Challenge? Because I think that is an interesting part about the MBA that we can probably cover.
Sure, thanks, Mansa. Thanks for the question. So yeah, definitely we can collaborate with other MBAs in Singapore, especially. So we have this collaboration with NTU MBA and SMU MBA. It's called MBA Dean's Challenge. So each year, each business school would arrange a challenge. So early this year, for example, the NTU MBA, they arranged a high heels challenge. Also, and last year they arranged MBA Olympics, because you know that currently we're in the pandemic, we cannot really have that, gatherings, consist of so many people. So that's why they changed the format. We have only high heels challenge, in which we send the recording of our race from each school, and then they compare who ran the fastest. And then NUS MBA arranges a case competition, which is called Social Innovation Challenge. And this year we just kickstarted the event today. So it's actually a case competition that focuses on sustainability, ethics, and impact issues, in which that currently the topic is it's growing. Even business school students are encouraged to learn more about SEI, sustainability, ethics, and impact, and ESG factors. So this would be an annual case competition that the NUS MBA will have, and it's a part of the Dean's Challenge. And then SMU MBA will arrange talent show. So it's actually an event in which each school can, the students of each school can actually join by showcasing their skills. So for example, last year we have Mansa here, who is actually a very great dancer. And then we have Ankita also showed her passion and skills in drumming. It's also a part of the talent show arranged by SMU MBA. So it's one of the events that we arranged together with NTU MBA and SMU MBA. And not only those two schools, the other business schools, which are INSEAD and then SB Jain, SADE, ESSEC business schools, they're also joined with the MBA Dean's Challenge as participants. And not only that, during our console, we encourage the club leaders to also connect with the club leaders from other MBAs. So the other MBAs also have consulting club, they also have tech club, some of them also have entrepreneurship club. So we would like to connect and create and collaborate if it is possible. And if it's not possible to arrange events, we can just extend invites to the other MBAs as well. And not only about club events, we also, of course, not only party, but you can always socialize with other students from the other MBAs as well. So it's something that is doable. It's something that is very easy to to network with students with the other MBAs in Singapore, especially.
Safira, do you want to tell them how many WhatsApp chats we have?
Oh yeah, about that. And the interesting part, yes. I mean, Kat, I remember Kat mentioned that Fred is the president of the foodie club, so he's a very foodie guy. So we have the not club, it's a WhatsApp group chats. We
informal
have
club.
Foodie chats. Yes, we have the informal clubs. Yeah, so we have golf club chat, group chat. We have
badminton
group chat. I think we have also gaming chat, right? Yes, Fred.
Among Us chat.
Yeah, Among Us chat. And then, yeah, I mean, so it's not only about, professional clubs, general interest clubs. You can always network with your cohort through other interests as well. Yeah.
And don't forget your group projects club, like WhatsApp and like this student sharing WhatsApp. So I would say expect anywhere between 20 to 50 group chats.
Yeah.
No, I think 100. I can
maybe more.
100.
100 group chats.
Yeah, but you get used to it. Like you get used to it very quick.
Okay, thank you,
All
everybody.
right.
So, looks like we have to close this session now because we have already extended it by 15 minutes. But one last question, it's going to be a very short one. If you have to describe your experience in the NUS MBA or as a club leader with one word, what would it be? And Fred, you can go first.
I missed the question. I was looking at the WhatsApp chat.
So the question is, if you have to describe your NUS MBA or your experience as a council leader with one word, what would it be?
I would take this. Guys, don't hate me for it. Transformative.
Okay.
Okay, because friends say transformative, so for me it's exciting. Exciting.
Very true. And Ankita?
I think for me, it has been immersive because I really haven't thought about anything else outside of the MBA since I've joined.
Yep. Great. Awesome. Taf, do you want to go as well?
Oh, nurturing. Yeah.
Okay. Great, awesome. So thank you everybody for joining us and for being so participative. We really did expect a huge turnout, but we did not expect you all to be so participative and so interactive. And we really hope that we got a chance to answer your questions, most of your questions. We've been trying to keep up with the chat and answer it individually through typing it out, if not answering it live. I know there are a lot of questions regarding the general application process, regarding profile evaluation, regarding other clubs, regarding scores, etc., etc. So Fred, do you want to share your screen and show whom the folks can reach out to from the team regarding other questions? I would also like to take this opportunity to mention that a lot of you have questions regarding other clubs. Just repeating, we would be having other series coming up about other clubs. But if you would like to know or maybe get some basic idea about what the other clubs are, what their mission and vision is, you can go to the NUS MBA website. Details regarding all the clubs, the executive committee are up there, so you can even check it out over there. And here's the awesome team at the NUS MBA whom you can reach out to for any questions. They're super responsive and super prompt. So yeah, they would be your go-to people. And yes, thank you, Ankita, Catherine, and Fred for taking your time out to share your very candid thoughts with this group. It's been a great session for me. And thank you, Safira, for being a great co-moderator. And thank you, Faiza and June, for letting us organize this for the audience.
Thank you. Thank you so much, for being a great moderator. And thank you, audience, for joining us tonight. We hope that session was helpful for you to get to know the NUS MBA club ecosystem, about the life as an NUS MBA student. And yeah, so we hope that you have a good rest and have a good night.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone.